one this season.
Okay. When time allows, eh?
Correct. Yes. Yeah, I had some time today, so. Do you have a preference for which half of the commentary you do?
Well, I did the one earlier, and I play doubles in the. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I guess I'm coming. Oh, sorry. I think we're live on the our audio is live on the YouTube stream right now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's okay. Well, maybe just wait a second. I thought I heard an echo, but it was just my own voice being played back later. I don't mind doing color just because I did that last time, but I also like playing the same loop and have played. Well, I haven't played Weeks Deep, but I know that.
good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Montana's North Bay Mixed Doubles Cashspiel in North Bay, Ontario, alongside Marty Thompson. My name is Matt Sussman, and we have a B event qualification game here between two teams based in Ontario. Throwing the Redstones is the team of Amanda Gates and Dustin Montpellier, facing the team throwing blue, which is Terri Weeks and Sam Steep. So, winner of this game gets to go to the quarterfinals match. And Marty, with this being one game away, what are we looking for both teams here?
Rocks have been curling quite a bit. Just sort of checking in on the games here throughout the weekend, and it's getting a lot of movement, which is good. Ice makers out here typically want to have the ice kind of like that. So we'll be interested to see who can sort of get that draw weight down early. The kind of run backs and hits. You see the movement on this blue rock. Actually, this is a good example. It's going to over curl and come almost up to the red. Lots of movement for sure. So whoever can kind of get the draw weight and get those rocks in, obviously the tap backs are good too. But the team that can sort of really get into that habit of finding draw weight and trusting the amount of curl that you get, because the rock really does hang out for a while. I think that'll be the team that will be in a good position, especially early on in this game.
Yeah, as we saw Amanda's first stone reach the house, but not even full 12, with Terri responding with drawing around, just as you said, over curled a little bit, but still fully 4. So Dustin's first shot here, possibly looking to tap his own red up.
Yeah, selecting the intern side here. Yeah, you're going to have to switch this to sort of keep this straight. You see the rocks won't even really get that far out before you really need to be pretty proactive in how you sweep them. This should be close. That'd be a lovely little bailout shot here from Dustin. It looks pretty good. They'll take that. I mean, they're sitting 2 for sure. They can come in, but at least there's something there. They maybe pooch themselves with how those reds are sort of lined up, but at least it's something in the top 4 that you could potentially use later.
Yeah, if you love watching all these big peel weight shots, you're probably on the wrong game. But we're gonna see some really good, like you said, some taps, some angles, some really good draw weight. But yeah, that other side completely open here for Sam Steep.
Yeah, good, and a good chance to really get some feel for draw weight here too. It's tolerance light for sure. Just you don't need to necessarily get it right in there, but good chance to sort of feel this out here for Sam. It should be pretty solid. Again, look at the motion on that. That's going to really cut in on them, which is good for Sam and Terri, as those are locked top 4. That is an ugly set here for Gates of Montpellier. They really have to deal with these rocks.
Yeah, you're right. That's with Weeks and Steep sitting 3 with hammer, and these mixed doubles ends are always much quicker than you think.
Yeah, so they certainly are. Even not on the clock, they're still fast.
Correct. Yeah. Yes, in many ways, it's very breezy.
Weeks and Steep have been playing quite well here this fall. They won a spiel in Palmerston just earlier this month, at the start of the month actually, and played at the Olympic pre-trials there in Guelph last weekend, and got a chance to watch some of their games when we weren't playing, and they're certainly playing quite well. I think they just missed out on the playoffs and a C qualifier. They're a really good team. They are very capable of throwing that big weight. I know that. Thank you, Matt, for letting people know if they did want to see big weight that they should leave immediately. That being said, this team can certainly play up and really break things up if they want to. I know that doubles teams, this is more of just a tendency to want to play some softer stuff, but they have that ability. Right now, if I'm red, it's difficult, even if you can play up weight right now, to try to fix what blue has sort of put in place for them. Looks like they're just going to try to. Were they just drawing right down to it, Matt? Is that what they intimated at?
Yeah, there was a very lengthy discussion in terms of what to do there, but they definitely need to set something up with this one. So off goes Dustin's second rock. Probably just looking to get a good angle on one of those blue stones.
Decent amount of weight, but you'll see, even after the little carve, this should move over quite a bit.
Yeah, really good movement. That will get probably to nose, almost hits the red first, but it does spill one of the blues. So still sitting 2 for Weeks and Steep. But
That is
better
such
than
a
it
nice
was.
shot though. That is that,
Yes.
you have those rocks in the top four. Now you kind of have options on either side, right? That is such a nice shot from Dustin. Definitely being a little bit more aggressive, but they saw that, and what a make. If the rocks are going to curl as much as they are here in North Bay, you can make that shot, 9 times out of 10, as long as you sort of trust what it's going to do line wise. So that was a great shot and really puts the pressure on Weeks and Steeps here. Now they're sitting 2, but I'd imagine they might even actually guard this.
Yeah, a
Or
lot of
try to
ice
throw
being
one
taken
underneath.
here.
Yeah, or throw one underneath. I'm not sure.
Definitely doesn't look like it has draw weight. Sam working it to get over the hog line. Is it gonna get there? It's traveling. It's starting to crawl. Working it hard and just gets it by. That is what you call a one guard.
Yeah. Almost a zero guard. And there you go. And yeah, I was just going to say, if they're playing off this red rock that we sort of see on the intern side of the sheet, there's lots of ways you can make this. You could come across the face and it still probably is pretty good. But if you're Sam Steep and Terri Weeks, you kind of want them to play the tough shot. So let them try this, and maybe you'll see something later on. Maybe they'll open it up. But I guess this will be red into blue. So we'll see what kind of shape that Weeks and Steep have left over. But this will be Dustin's final shot here at the end, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you are correct. So this is his third. And looking for some action there on likely the red on the red into red, the one on the left. So some rocks will probably move here. When all is said and done, blue will probably be sitting 1, even if it's made perfectly. But see what Dustin has here to open it up.
And imagine they had the thought too, if you just peel this one out, that's okay too. But we'll see if they can make this nice and precise. Again, knowing how much this rock is going to curl. Looks pretty solid. Just across the face, maybe. Yeah.
By, gets over top, will make contact, does sort of tick the one in the back, but red is now looking much better. They have 3 in the top of the house, but there's that lonely blue in the back of the 4 that is now shot.
Those are 2 excellent shots there from Dustin Montpellier, because if you think about the execution was fantastic, but the end results both had red rocks at the top of the house and blue in behind. I know they're sitting 1, and that might spook some people that don't play doubles, but in reality, you have to ask yourself, you're really looking at a force here. Like, you're really looking at that Weeks and Steve struggling to get a rock in here. So that's a fantastic 2 shots. Really changed the complexion of this end. If we think about when he was approaching those, sitting with those 3 rocks in the 4-foot, really changed it. Those are great shots.
Absolutely. So now all the pressure going back to Weeks Steep. We have Terri going to come out of the house and sweep this one. Probably just looking to maybe get.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe it's good. It's definitely going in the house. Possibly getting some a little bit of tap action on that red. See if it will skirt by, and they will push red into the back 4. But red back 4 is now sitting shot.
Maybe just trying to get to the inside edge of it, I think, is that maybe, or trying to tap it straight through or something. But yeah, it's a difficult position that you're in if you're Weeks Steep there, right? Where you're also kind of in a position where if you have the hammer and doubles, you're still trying to think, okay, like, it's doubles. We should be able to score 3 or 4 eventually, but sometimes you just have to look and be like, okay, we have our 1, like, let's just guard it or something, or just try to like act a little bit more reactively. But I get where they're trying to just generate something, but it puts Gates and Montpellier in a pretty solid position here. I guess they just guard this blue tap and then let them play something funny.
It does look like the call here. That blue is very tappable, and you could even tap it for 2, possibly.
Mm.
So here's Amanda Gates' second and final stone. Just looking for something light and high.
They wanted to keep it wide, but they maybe overswept it. Let's see where how far this one will go. Oh,
Corner freeze might not be bad.
yeah, that's perfect. Oh, I love that. Yeah, you can tell they're having fun. Yeah, that was what I meant. That was what I meant.
That's right.
Yeah, they have that, which is pretty gnarly. But I think you could actually just, if you hit that blue as much as you could see of it, maybe it just goes into the side of that red, and then like there. Do you see anything else, Matt?
Yeah. I do see what you're saying. It's you see about a third of that blue, and if whatever you hit of it with whatever speed, probably does sort of redirect into that pocket. That might be maybe the call. Typically, when you do see upweight shots, you see someone in the house, but with this being hammer, might have a sweeper there to try to guide it over.
Yeah, doubles, there's, everyone has a different sort of arrangement and how they like to call line. This is certainly the most effective. I know it's not, ideal to have someone in the back hack calling it, but this will work, especially when you have Sam sweeping.
Well, here we go. Terri Weeks with final stone of the first end, looking to bump up a blue stone somehow, maybe trying to go for that one that's slightly open. Sam working this one hard.
They're going to get a good chunk of it for sure.
A piece of it, and that is going to tick, and that is going to kiss off a red, and that's going to go too far. Nice attempt, but Gates of Montpellier is going to steal one in the first.
Hey Canada, head on down to Montana's for our 50-day aged 7-ounce sirloin flame grilled with 2 sides and onion rings, all for just $25.99 every day. Premium steak without a premium price, only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Swiss Chalet's festive special is back. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. It's a tradition truly worth sharing. The festive special, only at Swiss Chalet.
Surrounded by beauty on every side, this is a place where you can get away from it all. Or be right there in the center of everything. Arts, sports, entertainment, a vibrant culture. This is North Bay, and it is exactly where I want to be.
The second end here underway. The North Bay mixed doubles, sponsored by Montana's. And Marty, we had a lot of rocks in play, as is typical for a doubles game, but certainly a lot of very close shots back and forth led to a steal of one.
Yeah, lots of confidence to be found here for Amanda Gates and Dustin Montpellier. If doubles is anything, it's a game of momentum. And when you're kind of feeling good, and I'm sure Dustin does after those shots, you certainly feel like it's a little bit on your side. And yeah, that was just an exceptional middle three that really put them in a position, that made Weeks Deep play some hard shots. So it was an excellent little turnaround of events in that first end. And this team that's out of Sudbury. So somewhat the home team for sure. If you think of Northern Ontario versus Ontario, will definitely feel good going into the second end. Nice draw on top though here from Weeks.
Yeah, and building up what you said about that momentum, this is definitely a game where teams that are ranked lower have a higher chance against their competition relative to that of the 4-person game. And, to that point, looking at the seeding here, there's 16 teams by ranking. Weeks and Steep are the 5th seed, and Gates Montpellier are the 15th. So that seeding gets thrown out when they get on the ice. But so far, they're pretty evenly matched. It looks like here.
Just looking to over curl and just freeze on this blue. That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
that's a nice one. Nice shot.
Yeah,
and the double seeding is difficult just for those watching without much context. Where Amanda Gates has been to the Scotties, I think 4 times. Dustin's obviously you can tell is a great curler in his own right. But I think this might be their only event they played this year. I'm not mistaken. I just tried to do some research here before the game. So, they haven't necessarily accumulated a lot of doubles points. You can accumulate points through the 4-person game that will sort of port over to diminishing returns in doubles, but you end up in a position where there's teams that are quite good that, just don't have enough points to get a high seeding. But I do know what you mean where, they are, they play less doubles, I think, than these two. So therefore, they would be sort of seen as an underdog, but it just comes down to how you make the shots and how you, again, feel out the ice and most importantly, play as a team, because that's really important in doubles. And I can already tell that Gates and Montpellier are certainly playing as a unit.
Absolutely. Amanda Gates played lead for Tracy Flory, and that's how she got to the Scotties a number of times. I believe some of those might have been prior to when they were when Northern Ontario finally had a Scotties team, but also as Northern Ontario. So
I think
a lot of experience.
I think also they went during the pandemic as well, for like that bubble season.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, they were the team that went. I think McCarville had the right, and they didn't go for it. So yeah, I mean, there's again, a very much an accomplished curler, and it's funny where you just play some of these events where you have a team that's comes in without those points accumulated, but they're just good throwers, and they end up as the bottom seed, and then you're like, oh crap, we're playing some real players here. So it really is just completely wide open in that respect. I guess they're just going to come down here. Is that right, Matt? Like just nestle in?
That's what it looks like. So Sam Steep just called for the peel of center guard, and with it wide open now, trying to avoid a steal, they're just going to bring the play into the house. This one's probably just going to go into shot stone, possibly cover the pin. So that one's not leaving for a while.
Yeah, it's in pretty good shape here for the team from Sudbury because, yeah, I mean, if anything, that peel was a good chance for Sam Steep to get warmed up on his hits a bit because he's got to make something go here. Is there anything that you see as overly advantageous for blue right now, or just nosing that red, I guess, and seeing what you can move?
Yeah, I don't think your bluestones are helping you too much. The rule of thumb with mixed doubles is if it's behind the tee line, it's not really going to help you out very much, and you kind of wish it wasn't there at all. But based on where the broom is, this is going to be coming pretty hard here.
Yeah, there's certainly an opportunity. Make something go away.
That's right. So this is his second throw. Looking to unlock that red that was just thrown.
Looks pretty solid.
Should get it. And that's a nice little finish right there. That'll just roll a little bit, almost kind of sandwiched between the two reds. Hard to get rid of.
Yeah, that's really where you want that blue. That looks pretty solid.
Again, it's not shot stone, but it's in front of the tee line. The other one is just behind. So you'd rather be blue in this situation. And so now the tables turn to the other side. Now Gates Montpellier have to decide how to either move this or sort of push this back outside of the 4 somehow. What's the best way to do that?
Well, it's just like if you just came and just tapped it back, if you played like back 8 or something, you're still ultimately going to be in control with there's going to be 2 red rocks in the top 4. You could kill it. I guess your shooter rolls. You do have that rock that's biting the top 12, so maybe killing it isn't the worst. But my first thought would be just throw something like a little soft and just see if you can't just be still in control of the top 4, so that you'll have maybe 2 shots to go after it or make it a hard double. But I think they're maybe throwing a little bit of weight at this, considering where they put the broom. So hoping the blue just kind of spills out the right side of the house as we see it on the right hand side of the screen here.
You're right. I think I did see a motion possibly for hit weight broom.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see what we got here.
Here's final stone for Dustin Montpellier.
Yeah, the outside bit of this rock would be great. This is floating on them a little bit, though. I wonder if we got a little bit outside.
Man,
might actually be good, though. If you hit a thin part, you could just send this right through.
And it does catch the back, but it will sit side of the button on the tee line. Looks like it may be shot. Hard to tell, but it is unlocked, very sure. And red is definitely third shot.
It's still a good outcome because they really don't have a choice but to just come right in there, and then you can likely just bump up that rock that's in the top 4, and you might even have a pocket to just sort of nestle it in. So yeah, well, you're also asking the other team to make a precise shot too, so this is a pretty good result.
Yeah, this end definitely looks a lot differently when that center guard is gone. You're definitely seeing a lot more options here. So here's Sam Steeps last, looking to play possibly some type of freeze or some little tap to potentially sit 2. This one needs to curl, though.
Also just out in this path.
Trying to wheel it over a little bit of carving. And that is going to bump and roll into the back 8. And it does deal with the red, so now blue is shot for the moment, but Gates and Montpellier have one more to go.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy just nose hit on this red to sit 3, potentially in a line along the center line. So yeah, you just make it just about right there. Yep, and then you don't obviously have to play a ton of weight, but you might as well remove the blue while you're at it and just have the shooter roll across. So yeah, this is again another great set. Amanda Gates has had some nice shapes to throw into for sure at the start of this game, which also just helps with the confidence. So yeah, just throw this red rock into the blue, sit 3, and then really force a tough one here for weak Steeps again, as they had in the first, now in the second. Again, just shows again how crucial it is to have rocks, and that you mentioned it there, Matt, just like rocks above the tee just are always so useful, in that top 4 area, especially. They just always end up haunting the other team, as the end progresses. So this one was always sitting there, and now they've got that opportunity to use it.
So Amanda, having played lead many times, probably didn't get a whole lot of shots like this in the 4-person game, but a chance to just tap the red stone, move the blue one out of play.
Just going to see how much it's going to move off the center. Oh, okay. This should be good. Yep.
And that will, and then look at that little redirection there. That's just going to freeze right on top.
Not a bad little result there, eh? Yeah, that and they were really, you could tell they were really concerned about what the rock was going to do over the center line. That's always kind of the tricky bit because, you're playing doubles. You don't get a lot of opportunities to throw those kinds of hits through those spaces. So you're always kind of keeping an eye being like, what's it going to do? But that ended up actually being quite a good line. And, it doesn't change the shot that Terri Weeks has to make too much, although, they still have to get to the 4-foot. But putting this team under pressure for sure here in the second end.
Absolutely. Pressure draw against 3. You don't want this game to get away from you too quickly. So final stone here in the second end. Terri Weeks needs, as you mentioned, most of the 4-foot. You do have some backing.
This path has been pretty slick for these teams here so far.
So it needs to settle down.
Yeah, it's been awfully slick.
Needs to hit a red, and that is going to kiss off the red, and that is going to go too far. That is a big steal of 3 for Gates and Montpellier. They're going to take a 4-0 lead, but the game is far from over. Mixed doubles is high score, and we'll be right back.
Hey Canada, there's something smoking new at Montana's. Beef brisket is now seasoned and then slow smoked in-house for 12 hours every day. Try it in our new Austin cheesesteak sandwich and other barbecue favorites. Only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
How far do you have to travel to have an experience that's truly northern? Not as far as you might think. North Bay, Ontario. Truly northern experiences are closer than you think. Visit tourismnorthbay.com.
Third end here in North Bay. And do not adjust your set. That is the power play in the third end. After giving up a steal of 3, what are some of the reasons you might use this one time a game, move the rocks to the side? Marty, why would you do it this early in the game?
I'm just wondering how someone would adjust their set. Would they adjust their set in order to make the rocks seem like they were down the middle? Would they twist their camera or rotate the monitor ever so
You're still
slightly?
using the TV antenna.
Yeah,
ears.
I'm just thinking more of a digital age if you just sort of move it around. Well, in this case, if you're throwing the blue rocks here, if you're weak steep, it's like a bit of a power play. You're not guaranteed to get points, but you've got a really good shot of getting at least a couple points. That's part one. Part two is just to throw the rocks into a different space. You have this other team that's been playing quite well, and you maybe haven't been playing as well as you want. It's like, well, let's try throwing into a new path just to try to kind of mix it up, see if we get a different result. And on top of that, you have a team that, in your case, if you have the hammer, you're just going to be kind of drawing in and trying to sort of play it safe. It's going to be the other team that will have to eventually start to remove rocks and have to throw hits that are out wide. That's where you're going to get your misses. You're going to get your misses when you have a team throw a hit into a path that they're not familiar with. So that's part of that. Now, I should note that off the first there, Amanda Gates tried to play the tick off of the red and sent the guard straight back out of play. They're trying the tick again, but it's going to look a little bit more like a run. Now, is this too much weight again?
Oh, so And this is one of those rules in the game. You cannot take out any stone, not just the opponents, not just in the house. It's a kind of a strengthened or fortified free guard zone, if you will. Nothing can leave until until either 5 rocks have been in play or 3 rocks have been thrown. However you want to remember it. There's many ways to do it. But the same shot was just missed twice, and now Weak Steep finally have something going here, so that the chance to do the power play looks like it's paid off so far.
We were just talking the other day if we'd ever seen someone try to play the tick twice. Couldn't remember that, but I've certainly never seen someone play the tick twice and miss twice. It's a really finicky shot because people have a tendency to want to throw a decent amount of weight at it. But in reality, if you end up only playing, like you can play a back line at it, and if you hit the right part of the rock, you're golden, right? Like you don't have to throw. We've had some teams play against us that's almost thrown control weight at it. It's like, boy, you can throw like hack, board. That's even a little too much, right? And so I think that's a mistake that some teams make. I'm not sure exactly how much weight they threw. It was hard to tell, but I'm just pointing that out. If you're new to doubles, if you really don't have to, if you practice that shot, you really don't have to throw a ton of weight at it. More important is just getting the right part of the rock to send it, either across as a low guard or into the rings. So in this case, they might have thrown too much weight. It was hard to tell. Now they're at a position where they might have to just run it, right? Like maybe you throw about the same weight, just hit the middle of the rock instead of the outside edge.
Yeah, you're right. You definitely have that option there. And then the misses, you have to peel it open. But right now, Weeks and Steep are sitting 3, and it is looking like they're going to need a dandy from Dustin here to prevent that. So power play working out so far. Definitely changed the scope of the game, the scope of the end, making him trying something different.
It's funny, you want them to play something different, and then just how their misses went, they've seen this path twice. So this will be certainly more weight. I'm not sure if it's going to float out on them or not. Looks like it's going to be pretty true.
There's contact on the guard, but it is just going to sail right harmlessly through, and that is going to open things up. So chance to sit 4 here with hammer. Just split the house, 2 rocks on either side.
Yeah, there's different ways to approach this. I wouldn't be too surprised if they put the guard back up and cover those 2. I wouldn't be shocked, but yeah, I don't know. There's if you go in, that he's now going to he's thrown this hit. They've seen that path now 3 times. So, that's not like, it's not ideal to make him throw the same thing 3 times, or throw them 3 times, I should say. But we'll see exactly where this one ends up. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up just sort of covering this path in some way.
Well, the turn definitely indicates a guard. So does the speed.
I gotta make sure it gets over. Yeah, this good movement inside out as well. It doesn't cut as much. It's a little bit more gradual, but that's a really nice guard there from Sam Steep. Excellent spot.
Yeah, might have been almost close to where the positioned rock was. So
yeah, now it's time. Yeah, I was just about to say decision time too. Yeah, it's difficult. It depends how you want to play the scoreboard here, but could just hit the open one and just kind of focus the play over there for a little bit. Keep in mind this would be, I believe that's Montpellier's last shot of the middle 3. So just try to whack that one, I think, and just stick around, eh?
Yeah, with a 4-0 lead, if you've got a nice cushion there, and you'd hate to concede 3, but if that is what it's looking like, you could certainly elect to make sure it's not more than 3. And if you can get a roll, maybe bring all the play over to one side. You could make it tough for them to score 3.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you certainly could.
So yeah, this is Dustin's final stone. They'll have one more after this. Looking to just make a play on that open stone. Possibly sit shot after that. Should make contact, should roll the correct way. Just a little bit, not much, but it is momentarily closer.
Yeah, really nice stone. Both teams have been seeing the ice quite well on hits. So now they want to, Weak Steep just want to roll and maybe just sort of roll a little bit more to the outside, make that hit that Gates Montpellier will likely throw a little bit harder, just get a little bit farther out wide, try to challenge Gates to make it, and then see if they end up with maybe 3, maybe even 4 in this end. So definitely a solid power play. They were very fortunate to have those 2 misses to start. That run back wasn't far off either from Gates Montpellier, but still a well executed power play from this team. Good call to put the guard up. It's a good place for it, and they're shooting pretty close to 100 on this one. So solid end for sure.
Absolutely. This game, much harder to hold a 4-point lead than it is your typical 4-person game. So Sam Steep's last stone. This one's curling a little bit. Should be okay, though. See where it rolls and lands. It needs to stick around. And that will just slide through. So they are now just sitting the 2, but there's no double there. So they still have a chance for multiples. Pretty good here.
Yeah, it was maybe just not the weight that, or I see Steep is sort of intimating maybe something with his handle, but yeah, I just wasn't sure if that was the exact weight they were trying to throw or what. But yeah, that was unfortunate on the miss for sure. I guess I maybe sort of jinxed some of the commentators cursing. They were shooting close to 100% on the end so far, but Gates Montpellier, they're just going to try to like poke one of these blues out, Matt. Like ideally the one, the set rock there that's top of the tee line, and just maybe give them their 2.
That may be what they're doing. I always try to go by where they were near, and they were near the 2 blues. I don't really see a whole lot of other high percentage shots, and all she needs to do is make one of them go away, and likely it's the positioned one is more open.
Yeah, it's always a little bit harder to guess what the call is, especially we have doubles teams like these 2 where, you know, the person in the hack is calling line. I think you're right. Just try to send one down this alley and see what happens.
So final stone for Gates Montpellier. Amanda Gates looking to try to hit one. Should be getting one of them. Needs to make sure one is hit pretty hard, and they are going to get they're going to get both of them, neither of them very hard. And that is going to be an open draw to the paint for 3.
Wow, that's tough, eh? Wow. Yeah, that's maybe wasn't what they were expecting that far out line-wise. You could see that Dustin sort of moved to the other side of the rock, but yeah, wow, that's they got decent contact on both, but rolled them actually rolled them almost like in a perpendicular way across. It's really too bad. Open draw for 3. Yeah, that's certainly not their best end, but they can still be happy about how they played through the first 3 on the hole, regardless of where this draw goes.
Yeah, I was wondering why the sweep to curl was happening. It looked like they didn't need to curl, it needed to stay straight. But all the same, chance here to score 3 and pull this game closer. Terri Weeks needing anywhere in the house. All the same, they're going hard on it.
I think he just wants to keep it going. It's moving a lot. Should be close.
They're both going on it. No problem. It should get there. Had it all the way. That's going to be 3 on the board for Weeks and Steep, and they're going to pull within 1 point as we go into the 4th end.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Swiss Chalet's festive special is back. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. It's a tradition truly worth sharing. The festive special, only at Swiss Chalet.
Fourth end here of the Montana's North Bay mixed doubles. I am Matt Sussman alongside Marty Thompson, and we've had a very entertaining one. These two teams have just traded triples in the last two end. We've got a 4-3 game, and Gates and Montpellier, even though they're the lower seed, are in control of this, even though they just gave up a big three and with the power play.
Yeah, they certainly played well enough to be in a good position. Now they'll probably look for the carve here. Oh no, he's switching sides a few times. This comes down to tolerance on weights, maybe just a little heavy. And it rolls in behind and gives Weak Steep a pretty big pocket to draw into.
Yeah. Marty, I wanted to, you're talking, you mentioned you saw Dustin kind of switch sides on that stone, and it really makes you wonder with this game having just one sweeper normally, if some of the habits of the mixed double sweeping has sort of leaked over into the 4-person game, and you're seeing the some teams just have a primary sweeper and just stick to, and they'll switch sides. Your second sweeper just kind of walks alongside it, judging the weight. Would you agree that habit has kind of changed the game of the 4-person?
Yeah, most certainly. That's a really good observation. I think that, like if you break down, I think the sport has so many preconceptions that that need to kind of be always reassessed. And I think that one of them is that, when you have a team like the Swiss team there, like Benoit Schwartz does not need to be the primary sweeper on that team. Like he's a fantastic thrower, but why wouldn't you just have someone, go along and time and observe when you have powerful sweepers on your team that can really impact, the shot. And if the math is telling you that first sweeper is closer to that, whatever, 70-80% range of effectiveness, and they're really good, you just have to sort of make that adjustment and sort of say, okay, they should just be a primary sweeper. We always want their 70% because it's going to be more like 105% from the other guy. So I totally 100% agree. And I think that that's where the sport will, eventually go. We have like Team Gushu there that just got knocked out of the slams there just a few minutes ago. Sorry for the spoiler. Whoops. Maybe people were at that PVR, but with Botcher, with the sweeper, Jeff Walker is one of the best, right? So it's like, how do you balance that? How do you utilize that? I think just the flexibility that doubles has brought for the most part, right? Too, like sweeping on either side, that used to be something that people weren't totally comfortable with. Sweeping behind the rock was something people weren't totally comfortable with, and we've seen those European teams do that with that primary sweeper element. So yeah, it really has changed the game, and I think it's for the best because, like I said at the start of this, there's so many preconceptions that once you boil them down, they start to make less and less sense when you have the kind of athletes that we do and the knowledge we do in the modern game.
As we saw, Amanda Gates trying to curl that one over and change sides. So people playing this game certainly do have that ability to do that. But getting back to this game, looks like we have Weeks and Steep do not have hammer, but looks like they are sitting the 2 at the moment. Possibly one.
this is a really good shape for them, because if they do come back and just tap that red stone, get to the inside half, which we know is, certainly possible with how much it curls, they could be sitting 3 and have them lined up pretty well. So this is a pretty key shot here in this end. If they make this, they're looking good for a steal. Because even if Gates Montpellier wants to rip this up, they might even have to run the blue. They're gonna be in some trouble if Weak Steves makes this. It's got a curl though.
Sam's trying to will it over with that sort of slow carve. He is going to get it just on the inside roll there. And very good shot there. Do we have anything on the other side, perhaps? Well, maybe not now, as we get a closer look at those stones.
That's a good angle just to show exactly how murky it is for Gates Montpellier to deal with. Yeah, it's hard not to look at that blue and say, hey, we could hit it, we could do this, but you end up, you could just jam it and then they sit 2, your shooter rolls out, and then they just sort of come in and put another one in there, and you might be in the same position with one shot removed. So this has to be a pretty solid attempt. You're definitely not getting rid of the one that's on the button, but you might end up, I think the ideal scenario is that you now have a potential bailout on either the left or right side, right? Sometimes with doubles, it's easy to compartmentalize. Okay, we should give ourselves a shot on either side. And if you do clear this out, maybe you will have that, on your next.
Looks like they're actually going around the guard. If that was not the intent, they are going to hit and spill a couple stones. That kind of a made double there, and that does clear the button. Interesting result.
Yeah, that actually worked out pretty well. I hadn't necessarily seen that first time, but yeah, that was a great shot. So same thing now, Weak Steves comes in on one side, and then they might still have a draw on the other. So I don't think you can really focus on getting more than just maybe 2 in this end, likely 1. So let's make sure you can sort of lodge one in there once Weeks and Steeps gets their attempts to do the same.
Yeah, if they can come down and freeze on their own and cover the pin, there's going to be a world of trouble for Gates Montpellier to try to score, as they have not had hammer yet. This is the first time, I believe, that they have had the hammer. So this one's might be a little bit deep, a little bit over curling, but that will settle in, covering the pin, sitting 2 for the moment.
Yeah, a little deeper than they wanted, and this does open up a possibility for 2 here for Gates Montpellier if they can even bump that blue rock back. I think you could maybe get in a position where you could maybe even be shot and then force them to draw in or something. They're maybe seeing that. That's interesting. Do you think that's there? Like throwing a bullet into that little pocket?
So I think the first thing is, do you have the space for it? And I'm not seeing if there's space for it. And then the second question is, even if the space is there, is that going to come back and touch shot stone? And I think it might, but I don't think it moves it a lot. It might kick it open a little bit.
It certainly would, and then you just have the other team just draw in. You kick that blue out. Maybe it goes at best like edge of 4, and then Weak Steeps just kind of draws right in again. But I know what they're trying to do. That it seems like it's a good opportunity to try to activate some of these other rocks that you have at the back of the house. But it's got to be pretty precise. I would be more tempted, just because we know how much it's going to curl, just to play that tap, just that tap back of that one that's on the button. It should curl enough across that you just play back 4 and you should be able to move it. But yeah, interesting shot. If they make this, they'll be feeling pretty good about themselves for sure.
Yes, if that is indeed what they're going to do. will be a fun one to watch.
Gotta be pretty precise. We can say that much for sure.
Still a little bit more discussion in the hack here. Don't know if he's what it could be, if it's another concern about the shot, but final stone here for Dustin Montpellier. This one's a little bit softer than the shot originally called. They just could be looking to go around and chase and bump.
I think that
This
might
is
be the
starting
call.
to move. Is this going to get by? That is going to click off center guard, open that up a little bit, but that will give Weeks and Steep a chance to guard it themselves and possibly take away both turns.
Ironically, with that line, if they would have beaten the guard, they maybe would have even almost over curled that blue and it would still be shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's again just shows like really the amount of curl we're getting in North Bay is fantastic for doubles and fantastic for those shots in particular, right? Like those little, you're sitting fully buried on the button, but I can still get at you. You know, I can still push you around. So yeah, unfortunate miss, because as we can sort of see with Weeks and Steep's just trying to shape it up there, that Weeks and Steep, that they're just trying to go top 8 and just really control the key. If they put it in the right spot, maybe Gates Montpellier, the only thing they might have is that sort of that kind of in-off hit into the blues that they were looking at earlier. If it's even there, they could also guard it and take it away.
Yeah, this one being a line shot for their last.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanting to protect their 2 steal points at the moment here. Final stone is off and running.
Now you want to keep it wider for sure. This is maybe running a little bit on them. It's going to over curl. Not as much weight as they wanted. And a little bump off the guard. Yeah.
That might have feathered. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it takes away whatever kind of hit.
There's a little bit of space. Can they move both blues?
I'm not sure. Maybe what they'll do is just sort of play like, hey, let's do kind of like a heavy draw and just make sure that we tap that blue back and our shooter remains in the button for the shot. Yeah. Oh man, if they didn't tick that guard, maybe that hit would have been there. I don't know. If they like that double, like a straight double, man, that would have been fun to see for sure. But I think the play is just to come in and just tap it back a little bit, you know? Do you see anything else?
I really don't. I think this is probably what Amanda's more comfortable throwing. And again, even if you do make contact, and you could probably spill one of them, and maybe you give up only a steal of one at most. But obviously, you got to get around that guard first and make some contact.
Exactly. There's some tolerance to miss this shot and still end up with a pretty solid result. So that's kind of what you want in doubles for the most part, knowing that you're not going to make every shot perfect.
Oh, so this will be the final stone of the 4th end. Amanda Gates trying to get their tandem out of trouble here, looking for a little tap around the guard. This one is floating a little bit. Might have got it started out of her hand a little far.
Yeah, this is out there, really out there, and a lot of weight.
And that's one for sure for blue. Take a little bit closer, get some of those other rocks out of there.
I'd imagine that's blue.
That does look like blue. See if Dustin agrees. That is probably what it is. It's probably a steal of 2. We'll confirm after we come back for the 5th end.
Hey Canada, head on down to Montana's and get the best of both worlds. Enjoy our 7-ounce sirloin aged for 50 days, flame grilled and served with your choice of 2 sides and onion rings. Just $25.99 every day. Plus, for a limited time, add a Canadian lobster tail to surf your turf. Only $10 more. Dive into this or our lobster spinach dip, lobster mac and cheese, and more. Only for a limited time. Come for the barbecue, stay for the flavor. Only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice bat has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
We're back here for the 5th end of the Montana's North Bay Mixed Doubles Cash Wheel in North Bay, Ontario. I'm Matt Sussman. Marty Thompson is alongside me, and what a turn of events here after starting 4-0 on steals. Steal seems to be the theme of the game, as a big steal of 2 with Terri Weeks and Sam Steep. They are now up 5-4.
Yeah, sometimes it just feels nice to not have the hammer in doubles, maybe not in this to this extent, but yeah, some tricky draw pass for sure. I'm not sure if they're just throwing them heavy through them or not. It's hard to get a good read on the ice conditions here, but yeah, certainly wide open. And keep this in mind too, heading into the second half, that Weeks and Steeps have already used their power play. So Gates Montpellier still have one to use. We mentioned there were just a game earlier today in one of the A qualifiers, and we're just talking about how, you can use your power play defensively really well. So you never know, they maybe get a couple points here. They always have that in their back pocket coming home. They can always just throw that up there and keep it wide open if they need to. So just something to watch here through the 5th end and beyond.
Yeah, a lot of work's still to come. A lot of rocks to be thrown here, as this end is looking pretty standard so far. Everything being played to the center line. Everything lined up pretty nicely.
Yeah, got some good movement on that rock there with that little carve motion. And now we're kind of sitting top 4, and yeah, this is a good chance for Gates Montpellier to come down and actually take a look at this, because as you can see from the left-hand side, the shape's doesn't look great. What do you think the call is here? Just trying to come in corner freeze on something, Matt? Bump something around?
Yeah, that might be what you have to do. You're obviously sitting the 1, but if you're Gates and Montpellier, you've got hammer in the odd ends. That stuff still kind of applies to this game, and you definitely want more than 1. So definitely looking to set something up here.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to go after it. Teams can also, it's not uncommon for someone to sort of be sitting 1 in doubles and then just start guarding like crazy. But that would be, as you rightly pointed out, where they have the hammer in the odd end, so that's not entirely advantageous for them.
Amanda trying to finish this stone and bump the blue over, and that will sort of poke out on the other side. Shot stone is still red at the moment, and it's also covered and protected. It's in there pretty good, I'd say, but you could get it the other way. It's accessible with that you could just do that sort of blue-red slash. But looks like they're going to just play a little bit softer on the other side.
See Sam just deciding which rock you want to pick or trying to find it. This is going to be an ugly end. I think if they manage to meld it, like I think they can get like top button. I think they can get right on top of it if they wanted to. I'd imagine that's kind of where the desired. There's lots of different ways you can make it, but yeah, if he sinks this one in, knowing that you can carve it the way that he can, this is going to get ugly quick. Ugly in a good way. Ugly as in it's entertaining. I should preface.
Inner beauty, if you will.
Yeah. Or the guard too. I mean, this isn't like the worst for them if this is a little light, because you mentioned they have that kind of that slash, like the red into the blue. If they do that, then that entire side is completely open. So, you know, they can then they'll have that draw that just comes right in there. So let's see where this goes.
Yeah, they're eyeing their own side. Their own side being the counterclockwise side with all the reds. There's certainly some ways you can play this. You hit it thin enough, like you said.
I think that like the slash red is kind of worth it right now, considering the scoreboard, because even if you just kind of like nut it in the rock that you send sideways just kind of sits in the top button zone, then you're sitting 2, you know, like that would be kind of the desired outcome, like right there, just right to there. Yeah. If you bump back, you could even bump back blue a little bit, and then you're sitting 2 buried. Your shooter will be like probably like maybe where that T or the H is there, in the 8 foot, and then you're kind of like, I don't know, you're in a good shape. I think they're playing the tap though. I think they're playing it a little softer, like they're not throwing a ton of weight at it, which does make sense. Like I said, it's going to be ugly. This 4 foot is going to be extra gross here for sure.
We're going to get a lot of use out of that zoomed in overhead of the house.
Yeah. Let's just switch to that camera only.
That may be the default look at the house. And really that's kind of how these mixed doubles games go. You're almost zeroing in as you see the zoomed in house. Thank you, Olivier. With the things in the 4 foot are what really matter, and anything outside of the 4 foot is almost just kind of not in your mind.
Yeah, and if you have anything short, you just look to tap or run or something later just to try to change that shape in the 4. But okay, so yeah, it looks like just a really quiet wait, and you see them very proactively trying to keep this rock out. It does look like it's wide right now, but it will cut in. It's got to trust it. Yep. Hopefully this doesn't overcurl on them too much. Okay.
So that looks like they just kind of tap froze to their back red. That may have changed who is closer. It does definitely look from the eyeball test that blue is closer. There we go. Get a good look at that. Blue is sitting 1 at the moment.
That is just the perfect camera angle. That is just perfect. Yeah, I guess my inkling is just to do that little hit and roll, and then you control the front, right? Like if you're blue, you hit off that rock that was just thrown and you flop in a little bit. Then what does red do? If you get a good flop over where you're almost like edge to edge with that rock that's in the top button, the red one, then they don't have anything. They might even like guard you just getting 1. I know they're kind of looking at a hit here. I think Steep sees like a red something, but I would just be tempted just to hit that and then completely control the front, because if you make that shot right, red has to like, I really don't know what they would even do, because you're at that point you have 3 Christmas treed blue rocks in the key at the top, and you're sitting 1. So I imagine that's what they're going for, but I think that's a no-brainer considering the scoreboard as well, right? If you make this, you know, you're looking pretty good to score 1, and then you might not have the hammer for the sixth, which wouldn't be ideal, but it's hard for you to score. It's hard for you to score more than one in this end, and it's you don't really want to give up anything. So by doing this as a defensive play, so just focus on that.
Yeah, really interesting call there, but I think you're right, and that is what they're going to try to do. Play it the way they want it to be played. As Sam Steep is getting up to guide his own stone in. Doesn't look like it's going to make any contact on that top one, but he's going to hit that right there and nestle in. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny. You kind of have this default mode in doubles where you're like almost automatically greedy. You don't think you're being greedy, but you kind of are. Like in this instance, now red has this. Like red might even have like a little like hit or something off this one, right? Where they have a rock at the top of the top of the house that they can use. So yeah, it's tough. Yeah, they see like a little shimmy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like lost. Do you see much here, Matt? Like for red, that would be like excellent.
Well, if you hit like a third of that redstone high side, blue goes into blue, might even go into the other blue.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. Yeah,
You
that
could
makes
spill all
sense.
3 blues.
Well, that'd be fun. Dustin can throw that. He's been throwing it great, especially the weight. Yeah, that'd be fun.
He's got to hit it real thin, though. It would definitely just open things up, and that would just probably leave Sam a draw.
Yeah, then you're also in this position if you're red where you're trying to activate those 2 rocks that are at the back of the button. Like you might feel like you need to, and in this case, they do have a shot to do that. So yeah, this is an intriguing hinge point in this end for sure, and in this game.
Absolutely here. So last stone here for Dustin Montpellier.
Trying to navigate that same port, I think. Just going to flop over. Yeah.
So that's going to, that's going to go over and just kind of poke out on the other side.
Yeah,
they cluttered over there.
Yeah, now if you're weak steep, you want to kind of protect against. I think you want to protect against that red if they think they have a play on the red. I don't know if Gates Montpellier can get that rock in there in a way that they would want to. Like, I don't think they can get rid of shot stone. So yeah, I think you just attack this the side that they're both standing on right now and focused on. I think you just try to protect that side. Let them do this slash, or let them make that attempt, because it's hard to tell exactly if those are melded on, like the yellow and the blue, but yeah, I think you just protect it and take your one, honestly. I mean, at this point you're protecting against your one, right? I don't think there's much for them to make, so just get your one and move on.
Yeah, if there's something over there, if you're weak and steep, you might just say, let them try to figure it out. We'll just worry about the side that looks a lot easier. You can't take away everything.
Sometimes it's nice when you're playing doubles, just to have an easy shot. Make your brain not have to just fire on all cylinders trying to think of every possible outcome. So I think that's the call. Just protect this side with a guard, or even something that's top 8, and then let them play something tough, or maybe not anything at all.
This is the last blue stone for Weeks and Steep. Trying to just kind of close down any potential shot here, but this one should finish, might be close to the house. As you just watch it stop.
I'd toss this. I mean, I guess you can't really hurt yourself by trying something, but I don't know. Like, Ugh. It just comes down to how much of that red rock can you get, and even if you did get all of it, can you actually remove anything? I don't think you can remove that shot stone. I think the only thing you do is you just push it into being more shot stone. So
Yes, I tend to agree with you. And this is, again, one of those moments where this is the fifth end of a game. You've got 8 ends. You've got 3 more ends to go. You don't need this one. If you like you said, if you throw this one away, you're down 2 with hammer in the 6. You've got your power play. You've controlled the first 2, and I think that might be it. You were up 4-0, and now you haven't scored in a while, and you really want to score. But I tend to agree that it may be time to, lick your wounds and not try to hurt yourself more.
So they're looking at this. I'm not sure if we just caught this. They're looking at like running that blue that's in the top 12. That's like almost maybe only half buried into the 2 blues that are in the 4-foot, like coming across the one that's in the top 4. That's pretty gross. That being said, that would be for probably 2. So yeah, it's like, is it worth it? Likely not. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they're lined up, but it's you make a good point where, yeah, you kind of get in this position where you feel like you haven't scored or whatever. Sometimes just give them their one, honestly. Like we've played so many games on this circuit where someone sinks a rock and it's like, great, let's move on to the next one. Let's give them their one. It's kind of like, if you think of it's kind of like a blank in regular 4-person where you're going to eventually sink one and you're going to score one. So maybe just give it to them. But I think in this case, they might be trying this blue.
So here we go. Final stone for Gates Montpellier. Can they get past the guard? They are. What happens now? And that is just going to sail by. Couldn't get enough of it. And that will be a steal of 1 for Weeks and Steep. They'll take a 6-4 lead going into the 6th end.
Hey Canada, head on down to Montana's for our 50-day aged 7-ounce sirloin flame grilled with 2 sides and onion rings, all for just $25.99 every day. Premium steak without a premium price, only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Swiss Chalet's festive special is back. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. It's a tradition truly worth sharing. The festive special, only at Swiss Chalet.
Surrounded by beauty on every side, this is a place where you can get away from it all. Or be right there in the center of everything. Arts, sports, entertainment, a vibrant culture. This is North Bay, and it is exactly where I want to be.
And we're back here for the 6th end of the Montana's North Bay Mixed Doubles Cash Spiel Tour event here on Curling Stadium. We've had quite a fun game so far, as of the first 5 ends, 4 of them have been scored on steals. And Team Gates Montpellier, with having had a 4-0 lead to start, has gotten themselves into a bit of a hole, as Weeks and Steep have scored 6 straight points. And momentum has definitely changed in this game.
And we were just talking at the start of the game about how doubles is all about momentum. And this scoreboard is a great example of it. Just sort of poked there when the you just saw it there when they were throwing up 4 and then just that 3-4-5 right away. I mean, it really is one of these games that is a good example of it. And I think really impressed with how Gates and Montpellier were throwing the rock at the first bit. Certainly been some good stones through these last 3 ends, but yeah, I mean, it's really just looking to sort of grasp onto something in this end and pull forward in the 7th and 8th, knowing that you do still crucially have a power play.
That's correct. They elected not to use it here. They could have used it here. That might have been, if I was down in the situation, gave up 3 straight steals, I might, not 3 straight steals, 2 straight steals. I might choose to use it, but they can certainly use it in the 7th or the 8th.
Yeah, it's a good point. Sometimes you just have the thought and you're like, nah, you're not feeling it, or you're scared about you're scared of throwing into a different path, and I get it for sure. But yeah, you'll likely have an opportunity to use it in 7-8, like you said, so let's save it. Weak Steves have a lovely little rock here at the top of the button.
Yeah, as the play has gone back to the middle, they are at least momentarily in control of this end again, as Dustin Montpellier looking to possibly freeze on it, maybe tap it a little bit. Amanda trying to push it over.
Yeah, a bit of movement's good on it. Yeah, that's fine for now. You're going to have to play with a little bit of fire. Weak Steeps will likely just draw because there's really no good hit. And then who knows? You might have some kind of shape you can work with here in the 4-foot if you're throwing the red stones. No, maybe they are going to play the hit. Just a hit and flop over.
It does look to be the call.
Yeah, you definitely want you definitely want to get close to center at least. If you nose it, then red could almost come down and flop over on the blue there that's on the tee. So crucial shot here from Sam Steep.
This one needs to curl.
It's out there on him, eh?
He's working it over. It's going to be close to nose at least. And he will hit just nose. Opportunity here, though, for Gates Montpellier to possibly get in there and tap shot stone back a foot.
Yeah, I think you go after that now, eh, Matt? Like, just kind of come in there. Oh, they're intimating they want to come on that side. Maybe just a straight draw, corner freeze, coming across center. Is that maybe what they're thinking? I was thinking, yeah, I thought your thought was bang on. It's like tap that blue back and then roll in. But I guess you're trying to go for a similar result by drawing on the side with this blue rock in the 8-foot and just see if you can't get right in there and nestle in.
Yeah, the side looks more difficult for sure, but the path is there and they feel confident with it.
There's ways you can miss it too, right? Like if you throw it heavy, you could almost like just sort of tick off that blue and maybe even roll like open. There's a couple ways you can miss on this side, which I like. And it is heavy, it looks like, judging on the carve.
Yeah, that is just going to hit and flop. That's almost kind of the shot we were looking for Sam Steep. But instead, Dustin throws it, and blue is still shot at the moment.
Yeah, this is a pretty good shape here from Gates Montpellier. I mean, we should note that we're in the 6th end, and Weak Steep has not missed, hasn't had like Sam, especially just like really good draw weight. Their draw weight's been great. You're still trying to look for the odd miss out of them, and this might be one of those where it's like, hey, maybe throw the odd hit. Maybe he'll throw this one light or something. but you really haven't got those misses out of this team at all if you're Gates Montpellier. But this is a good test, just try to let them try to pull it right into the forefoot. It has to be, just about perfect for you not to have some kind of hit off of it, and see where you end up. It's going to be really tight to the guard. Oh, they made it.
Can they get by the red? They are by that. Touch their own shot stone, and they're going to stick on both sides of the button there. Sitting 2 at the moment. But there is a pocket.
Yeah, you have those 2 options. That red run isn't ideal just with how those blues are staggered, but it's almost like, is that worth a try now or just drawing in? Yeah, you know what? I think Dustin kind of pointed at it. I don't mind coming off of that blue on the open side and just maybe tapping it back and then maybe rolling, like making sure that shooter is almost melded to the blue, on the blue that's on the right side of our screen if we're looking on the right-hand side. That way you're probably shot, right? Most likely you're shot. You're probably going to score 1. And then you're in a position that potentially on Amanda's last, she might have something off of that red. Actually, she might have something on either side, right?
Yeah.
So if you hit, I've got to be a little bit more economical with my words here. Essentially, the left, if we're looking at the right-hand side of the screen, the shot that's close to Amanda there, that's on the open side, just hit and roll so you're melded on the other blue, and then that's it. Because you might be shot stone. You give yourself options, and most importantly, on Terri Weeks on her last stone, I don't know what you do. You might have to guard one side. You'd have to guard one of them. But anyway, sorry for going on a little bit of a rant there. I just think that shot might actually be the most ideal scenario.
Well, certainly with mixed doubles, there's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of precision. There's a lot of angles, and you have to account for as many as you can with the time that you have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, considering the pace, it's difficult to bring it all in for sure.
So Dustin Montpellier with his last has a chance here to bump up the red. Doesn't have any of it yet. That is going to hit a small piece, and that is going to go over top and hit one of them out. And so not as thin as they were looking to hit it, but it did deal with one of the blues.
Yeah, this will be a tidy little hit and roll here for Terri Weeks. You don't have to throw a ton of weight at it either to be in complete control. Yeah, this is another big momentum swing here for Weeks Steep, where they're really looking good for a steal. Like, you make this perfect, then just seeing how Gates Montpellier have been playing, they might try like a run or something, like a run. They might run the guard or something, right? You're really putting them under pressure if you make this shot. So, yeah, I can't say enough about how well Terri Weeks and Sam Steep have played since the first 2 wins, for sure. They had their moments in the first 2, but they've been putting together an exceptional game for sure.
Yeah, the winner of this game will qualify for the quarterfinals, and the loser is going to have to go back out on the ice tonight at 7:30 for their last chance to claim one of those 8 playoff spots. The final stone, Terri Weeks.
I think maybe like a little bit more weight than I thought. Again, you don't have to throw a ton, but getting that roll over is nice. So maybe they're selecting to throw just a bit more just to make sure they've got it. Yeah, reading the ice quite well here. Get that inside edge. This looks like this is going to overcrawl on them slightly, but it might be okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's quite good. It still achieves what you wanted. Is there anything, I think, is the question.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh boy. You know what? I've changed my mind. This camera angle is too stressful. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Yeah, it's I guess you try to just hit those blues and hope for something good to happen. I guess so, eh?
Yeah.
Like, oh
Yeah, that red is
Oh,
almost
God.
guarding it, because if you get around, you can't hit the red first. You got to really get around there, and then you got to move 2 rocks. This looks like another steal again for Weeks and Steve.
Oh, most certainly. Yeah. This depends if it's going to be 1 or 2. I would be tempted to just throw like a peel weight at that redstone that's on the outside, like on the
Yes.
forefoot, and then just see if you get rid of 1. It's hard to tell. I guess if you throw like a bajillion mile an hour, you might be able to get rid of both, but I would just be tempted to throw that, because also there's no way you can really hurt yourself either.
Right.
Like that's so melted on, it's just kind of whatever. But yeah, because I guess in theory, you only really need to move that blue stone that's on the button. You only need to really move it like maybe a foot, and then you're only giving up 1. So yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. Do you see much else? Like, it's annoying to say you got to play the scoreboard when you have the hammer and you're down by 2. But looking at the shape that you're at, it's like, you just got to try to get rid of 1, knowing you still have the power play. So if you give up 1, great. You play the power play. Maybe you get your 3 or whatever, and you do have a chance at the end to, if Amanda makes her draw quite good on the top 4, you have a really good chance of stealing.
Oh, they're going back to look at it again. They're still not sure.
This is, it's possible. Like, so they want to try to like come to that one at the top of the button and the blue, and just get as much of it as they possibly can and just shimmy it that way. Certainly possible, but yeah.
I think the reality is that whatever you throw is going to be at most cutting him down to 1.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a shot that would guarantee getting you a point, you'd throw it, but it's not there. So what's the easiest shot to cut him down to 1, and then, maybe use your power play in the 7th?
Yeah, I mean, to be down 3 is not the worst in doubles if there's 2 more ends to go and you have a power play and they don't. You can easily get a 3, and you just got to make sure that you play the power play well. But I'd imagine they're trying that, Matt, because that was the last thing they looked at. I know they were sort of laughing and joking, but I think they're maybe throwing something that's going to come around the guard and tap those 2 blues. In a perfect world, they could score 3, I guess, right? Like,
oh, I guess so. I mean,
right?
In a perfect world, if it exists. But here's the last stone here for Amanda. Trying the come around tap, see how many blues they can move.
We know how much it curls. This might actually be there.
Needs to move. Cannot hit the red first. It has to move. Can it hit the blue? Can it hit the blue? And they are not going to move anything enough. That's going to be another steal of 2 for Weeks and Steep, and they're going to take an 8-4 lead into the 7th.
Hey Canada, there's something smoking new at Montana's. Beef brisket is now seasoned and then slow smoked in-house for 12 hours every day. Try it in our new Austin cheesesteak sandwich and other barbecue favorites. Only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
How far do you have to travel to have an experience that's truly northern? Not as far as you might think. North Bay, Ontario. Truly northern experiences are closer than you think. Visit tourismnorthbay.com.
And we're back here. The 7th end of the Montana's North Bay Mixed Doubles Cash Spiel event here. I'm Matt Sussman. Marty Thompson is also here on the call. And we now have a power play with First Rock looking to move that corner guard. They moved it the other way, but they kind of got the job done there.
Yeah, it works. It works. Yeah, that's certainly the riskier way to make that shot. They could just maybe curled up a little bit on them. It's tough when you have these practices that you take in these spiels. And I think it's an extended one at North Bay, but at least the format that we have kind of on the Ontario tour, just more generally, is you have, one shot that way each. So 2 shots for your team total, and then 2 shots back, and then you do your draw to the button. So, if you had a regular 5 or 7 minute practice, like, we had at the pre-trials last week, you do get a chance to throw something inside out or even throw the tick shot to see what it looks like. So when you're throwing out to the wings, sometimes it kind of feels like you're throwing blind. So in that case, it looked like it maybe just over curled on them slightly. Still a good guess, but just for some context, that in doubles, you don't really get that opportunity to have a big sort of first practice to get used to how everything feels. This one looks a little heavy, eh?
Yeah. Well, it is going to make contact with their position stone. It is going to settle in. They are now sitting 2 at the moment, and those rocks cannot be taken out yet.
Maybe just try to draw around the blue, maybe. I know this looks like it's for a hit. Maybe they're going to play something soft and just tap it back. I'm not sure exactly, but
yeah, they can't hit.
Yeah, just tap it slightly just into the back half of the house. But I would just be tempted just to draw around the blue. Yeah, I don't know exactly what this is for, but
that might be the call. You just maybe to put the broom out so it's not behind the rock.
Right. Yeah, if you make the draw nice, you're sitting buried, so
they might end up starting to over curl.
Yeah, they might just tick this over. Well, that's not the worst case in a power play situation where now you have these 2 blues that are in front of the house, so you can eventually tap or run in if you need to. So it's not the worst. And also understanding that this rock out here on the 8-foot is open, so they make this draw, whatever, you maybe hit and flop under, you still have control of the front of the house. So it's actually possible here for weak steeps, I would say, at this point, to actually steal on this end, considering where these 3 are, but we'll see.
Yeah, they've gummed up the middle pretty well, even though that wasn't the goal they were trying to draw around. But looks like Dustin Montpellier is going to elect to go around on the intern side. That's what he was signaling. Chance to sit 3 here. Or maybe guarding.
Yeah, is this ever tight? I guess they're trying to curl across center. Yeah, and guard that one. That's I like that call though, I think, Matt. Like, because you know what they're gonna throw. You know what Sam's gonna throw, which is that hit and maybe even just try to like double or something. So that's smart. That's really smart. Now look at that. Your 2 red rocks are guarded. I love that call.
Yeah, looks great for Gates Montpellier at the moment.
Just saying run it. Yeah. maybe a little smirk here from Dustin. Just got exactly what you wanted out of the other team, right? Make them throw something tough. I guess there's certain margin for error here for Sam Steep in terms of hitting either red is good, but if you stuff one.
Yeah, with an 8-4 lead, if that's what he wanted to throw a guard, then the proper response is to make a play on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was some clever shot calling here from Gates Montpellier.
This one, there's your stick, and that is going to jam in the back, and they are still sitting 2 at the moment.
Huh. And then you have to keep in mind where the shooters are going to roll if they put another guard up. Like his shooter rolled to a point where that tap might still be there on that outside one if they need to. I'm just thinking of what the potential shot at the end for weak steep might be. And that one's now harder.
Yeah, it really is a sort of cat and mouse game. You want to be in the minds of your opponents and figure out what they want to throw and what they're comfortable throwing, but you can't turn around and ask them. They're not going to tell you the right answer.
Yeah, I don't like. Oh man, I guess draw around is nice for sure. Now, yeah, because I guess now you have these 2 staggered guards. Make him try to throw a double or something. If he rolls out, like if he tries to double off those ones there, the 8 and the 12 foot, then you might be sitting 2, and then you just throw another one underneath the staggered guards, and then you're sitting 3. So yeah, I guess I like this call if you really want to tempt him to make some kind of hit on this one in the 8 foot. This also makes a lot of sense. That you just got to make this come around, or they're guarding. Looks like they're guarding again. Fair enough.
Does look like the guard. They're sweeping this one for distance, perhaps. Starting to move though. Here comes Dustin to help out.
Got to carve it
Push
a little
that
bit.
over.
Oh no, it's got a good movement. I have never seen a team have more fun than these two. They are just laughing like crazy. I'm not sure if they thought it was a little light, but they were having a good one on that one.
Oh, a game like this, you need to have a good sense of humor about yourself, and people show it differently. Some people are very dry. Some people are very outwardly exuberant. This team seems like the latter of the two.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I think they're going to try that little skinny double. It's there for sure. You got to get a lot of heat though to get that red rock moving. But yeah, you make this, you're in great shape for the game, and you're looking forward to tomorrow. Okay, I see that. Yeah, so Weeks is now sort of intimating just have that hit and roll on top. If you do that, then you're shot, and you really nullify that red one. Either way, yeah, you're in a good shape. That would be the safer of the 2 plays for sure.
So we think the call is just a hit and roll?
Yeah, I think so. That can be your tolerance of doubles too, where you're like, oh, if we're just in front of this red rock that's in the 12 foot and we're shot, then that's as good as a double. So see what Sam Steep does here on the come around the guard and just sort of see if he can whack it. I think he's a little inside.
He's going hard on his own stone. Can he get it by? It is by.
Oh, he really swept that.
That will roll in a pretty nice spot. So weak steep sitting shot stone at the moment.
It didn't roll enough to be super advantageous because now Gates Montpellier can just hit and roll to the outside. And then they're in good shape. They'll be sitting 2. Yeah, still certainly on here for 3. If they make this nice, then you might see weak steep try to draw or tap up one of their own right into the middle, and then if they miss that, there's a chance for 3 for sure. So not a bad power play here from this team out of Sudbury.
Yeah, a lot of good composure here. Obviously, they're down 4 and they need to multiple score badly here. But as we've seen, there have been 5 steals in this game. So anything could happen in the 8th if they can get a 2 here. But first and foremost, they need to hit this blue and roll and stay in the house.
Maybe their first rock they've seen out this. Oh, boy. Oy.
Oh, that does not curl enough. However, they are mostly behind cover and they are sitting 1 at the moment.
I was shocked to see how close it was to that red guard, eh, Matt? Like it just got by it, even though it was curling away. Huh.
Yeah, that guard kind of came out of nowhere in a matter of speaking, and I almost thought that it actually did kind of feather it, but I don't think that was in their eyesight at all.
I mean, this is a pretty good opportunity for weak steep. Yeah, I mean, they're looking at either killing the game by just hitting that red one off, like running that blue into that red. I would just be tempted to try to just tap up that blue with a draw, but I guess with where these guards are, that might be hard. I guess where they had the broom was that kind of that run blue into red. The blue that's at the top of the house, I think. That's my best guess. You?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, with all the guards being as kind of disorganized as they are. I don't know if that blue is tappable. I don't know if a run is even like a great idea.
Yeah, that's maybe what they're talking about here. I mean, even if you just get to the nose of the blue and it just comes to like, I wouldn't want to throw more than like a back 4, back 8. I'm not sure exactly how much it's curling if you can get by that red guard or not, but I would just be tempted to just try to send that blue into the 4-foot in any direction. If you over curl, then that's cool. You go towards the red, but yeah, I mean, this is a good opportunity for weak steep to really put the game on ice. You know, either way they make the shot, you know, they're in pretty good shape.
So Terri Weeks' final stone. Weak steep final stone of the 7th end. This is on the guard.
You don't want that. It just ran on them. I think it was maybe, again, like they were trying to figure out.
Ooh.
Oh, no. This is going to sit around, isn't it?
Ooh, that is going to touch. Oh, that is touching.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What they meant to do. There is now, is that 3rd shot?
Sorry to Sam and Terry for laughing, but that's just doubles for you. That is so unfortunate. Yeah, so this is, man.
If that's 3rd, you've got a little short run for 3.
I think you just play the short run and hope that it's 3rd shot. Wow. Yeah, but that was exactly it, where it's like, okay, you're going to throw back 4, back 8. How much is it going to curl? That really is a tight port. I know that it doesn't look like it is, but when you need to throw something soft and how much rocks are curling, how much ice makers like to have rocks that curl a ton during doubles, it makes those shots that seem, relatively straightforward in club play actually a lot more difficult, during events like this. And that's a good example where it's like, how much it's going to cut. And it's like, geez, like, how much are we going to throw? You get a little bit outside and it like, if you get outside, maybe you have an extension and you pop it, then it's toast like that, right? That's a really brutal situation, but they still have to make this shot. I mean, like you said, it's a short run. It doesn't look too hard, but if they make it, it's a whole new ball game. Wow.
Yeah, it's a matter of choosing the right weight, choosing the right line. Like you're saying, these rocks can curl a lot, so you've got to have some pretty solid weight here. Final stone for Amanda Gates here.
That's got to curl a little bit. Have the broom down. You don't like that.
And that's going to go right by. And that is going to be another steal. And that's handshakes. So Terri Weeks and Sam Steep are going to advance to the quarterfinals with a 9-4 victory. Gates Montpellier is going to have to come back tonight and earn their way in the C event. Final thoughts on this one, Marty?
That was quite a good game, but at the end of the day, Week Steep scored in 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So really close. Margins are quite slim, but you really have to give it to Week Steep for how well they played and earning their spot in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, big momentum here after being down 4-0. Scoring 9 unanswered points. It's the kind of thing you can see in mixed doubles, and we definitely saw it here. So, Marty Thompson, I am Matt Sussman. Thanks to Olivier in the production booth, calling this game here on Curling Stadium here in North Bay, Ontario. Thanks for watching.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice bat has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
How far do you have to travel to have an experience that's truly northern? Not as far as you might think. North Bay, Ontario. Truly northern experiences are closer than you think. Visit tourismnorthbay.com.